He told us that he would do it. He, in fact, did it in the second round. He stopped Aljamain Sterling, something that some of the greatest bantamweights on the planet couldn't do. He's now the king of the 135-pounders, and he's kind enough to join us. He's the one and only Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Am I losing you, Ariel?
You're here. Hello, Sean. What's happening?
Holy shit, I lost you for a second.
Okay, are we good? This is amazing. Yes, you're on a swing somewhere. Where are you right now?
I'm at my farm.
Yeah, you got a farm. You bought a farm before the fight.
Yes, I did. I bought a farm before the fight and finally kind of, moving in.
How many animals on the farm?
I got 15 chickens right now. I got a fat ass cow and my puppy. So, but I want to get a couple goats. But I gotta slice. Gotta make sure I can handle all these chores for now.
And does anyone help you with all the chores?
Right now it's not too bad. Just cleaning the chicken coop and then make sure they got some cold water because it's hot over here in Phoenix. And then the cows, she don't do much. So right now I got it under control. But yeah.
Any ponies?
No ponies. No ponies. I think what'll be next are going to be a couple little goats.
Okay.
I just got to take it slow. I get too excited and I want to start just, getting a bunch of things, but I got to make sure, so far I got these animals taken care of. Maybe we'll see how the goats go, but yeah, we'll see.
And why did you buy? Like at first glance, you don't strike me as the farm type of guy. Why did you decide to do this?
Yeah, never, growing up, I was never like, didn't really have animals or anything, but I randomly wanted chickens like 4 months ago or something. And I just thought it'd be cool to get chickens. So I got 2-day-old chickens and, I was like, damn, this is fucking sweet. But the house I was living in really wasn't set up for, I had a nice little coop and everything, but it wasn't really set up for it. So I started looking at houses with some acres, with some land. And I found this place. It was fucking perfect. And I just had to jump on it right away. And it's peaceful, Ariel. When you're the biggest superstar in the world, you need a little peace. So I had to find some peace out here.
And you are certainly in that conversation now. You are killing it, my friend. Congratulations on the win. And so could I ask, like, you've been talking about this, you predicted this, it all came to fruition just a few weeks ago. When you thought of what life would be like as champion, when you were dreaming about this, visualizing it, all that stuff, is it matching now what your life is like? Is it matching what your dreams were sort of made of? Or is this exceeding what you thought it was going to look like once you became champion?
When I first saw myself as a champion, 17, 18, 19 years old as a young buck, I thought I would be, when you picture it, you thought, you're going to be partying a bunch, chicks everywhere, traveling everywhere, just doing a bunch of crazy shit, which I do sometimes, but it's more peaceful. I still feel like I have a ton of work to do. I still have a lot of, big fights, a lot of work to put in. So, right now it's not necessarily what I thought it would be as far as like just, being a crazy person. It's quite opposite. I'm living out here on a farm, very peaceful. Like I said, I got a lot of work to do. So, I'm in a very, very, very healthy, good mindset and want to get back to work.
What has been the best thing to happen to you since becoming champion? What's the best byproduct of what you did on August 19th?
It's hard to, I was driving a Lamborghini when I wasn't even top 15. I was flying private before I was even, top 10. So it's hard to say because I was kind of living this champ lifestyle before I was even champ. Nothing really has changed. The opportunities I had not being champ were I was already having a bunch of opportunities. So to be honest, nothing really changed. I will say I get noticed way more. Like that's been a lot different. I've always kind of been noticed randomly. I have fucking face tattoos and colorful hair, so it's hard to hide anyway. But now it's crazy. I go anywhere and it's crazy. But it's all good, positive stuff.
Your head coach and friend Tim Welch said afterwards that it was your worst training camp, that you were banged up. Could you tell us how banged up you were going into that fight? And as a result of that, how nervous were you? Here you are, biggest fight of your life. And according to him, who I know you trust, he's not feeling great about the camp that you just had.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the worst camp I had was probably the Contender Series fight. This fight camp, in his eyes, it was really, really bad because we couldn't grapple for 6 weeks. Literally 6 weeks to the day, I had that muscle strain injury in my rib. And so for him, being the head coach, wanting to like kind of structure practices, like we couldn't even clinch. We tried to just kind of do like a light clinch, and it was just couldn't even do that. So for him, it wasn't good. For me, ideally, I would have been grappling. Obviously, I was fighting Aljo, but I feel like I was able to switch it in my head and make the most out of it. I can still hit mitts. I can still do the airdyne. I can still kickbox. So I was still able to get really good work in, but just not MMA. I couldn't do MMA. I couldn't wrestle. I couldn't do any jujitsu. So in that sense, yeah, it wasn't a great camp, for the opponent. If it was like a kickboxer, it would have been fine camp. But we were fighting, someone that's main goal was to take me down. Um, but yeah, 6 weeks out from the fight that happened, and it sucked for a while, and I had to switch it in my mind. This could be a blessing in disguise. My game plan going into the fight before that happened was don't get taken down. Now it's just extremely, extremely important that I do not get taken down.
But did that make you doubt yourself? Like on fight week, were you starting to get a little more nervous because of the fact that you couldn't grapple for 6 weeks?
Not at all. When I said I was more nervous for this fight, I should have been more specific. I was more nervous for this fight right when I kind of had this injury, like 6 weeks out, 5 weeks out, 4 weeks out. I was like, fuck, am I making the wrong decision? Should I have pulled out? The closer I got to the fight, the more I was able to convince myself, and just that self-belief I have in myself was just maxed out. Like I have to believe in myself more than I ever have. And, so come fight week, very calm. Come fight day, zero nerves. Walkout, zero nerves. I felt absolutely no nerves fight week.
When did the idea for that walkout song come to you?
I actually walked out to that song in Abu Dhabi. It wasn't as much of a hit because, I don't think they listened to Lupe Fiasco over there, and it just wasn't as. It still hit hard. Like that song. When I walked, I actually walked out to that song when I fought Jose Quinones on my 2-year layoff when I came back, and that song just now when I hear it, it hits different. But by the way, Ariel, you want to see it?
Hell yeah. See what?
Are you sure you want to see it?
Sure. I mean, the knuckle?
Just my right hand, baby.
That is
Thing of beauty.
it
It's a
is
fucking thing of beauty.
it
I don't
is
show everyone.
no, I appreciate that. It is fantastic.
Yeah, of course.
How many times have you watched it? The finish, the fight?
I've watched the fight um, a good amount of times. Probably 10 times or so. I was so excited to watch the ESPN once it got released. Well, I bought the pay per view, so I go back and watch it. I watched it once, and I tried to rewatch it again. I decided to buy the pay per view again. I was like, "What the fuck? I'd already bought it." But then I went back and watched it recently when they just uploaded it, and they have some cheesy ass music over the walkout song.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason I even watch it is just that walkout just hits different. I remember a point when I was standing in the octagon right before they played Aljo's music. The crowd was singing the song, and that was one of the most memorable moments of the night that I can look back on and actually feel like I remember was when the crowd was singing that song.
Yeah, I think it's like a licensing thing. It's kind of a bummer that you go watch old fights and it just doesn't feel the same when you have this like generic track playing over, Anderson Silva walking out or something like that. I feel your pain. You could probably, I think the UFC could probably hook you up with your own copy though.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. I mean, there's so many videos, even on YouTube, of just like the walkout. So it's pretty cool to watch the walkouts from people's videos on YouTube and their perspectives of the seats and stuff, and watching it from different angles. Even the fight itself, people upload it, and you can see the finish from different angles. So I've watched all those too.
Can you put into words like the closing moments when you drop him, when you finish him, when the fight is over? What does that feeling feel like? Can you even describe it?
No, there's definitely at least no words in my vocabulary. I don't know too many crazy words, so I definitely couldn't put it in there. But it was like a sense of relief, and it felt like a dream. I kept all fight week, I was taking a lot of naps fight weeks. I was really trying to take a nap later in the day so I could stay up later because I fought at 12:30 in the morning. So I was having some pretty vivid dreams, not about the fight necessarily. A couple of times about the fight, actually, like just seeing myself hitting with that right hand. But after the fight, I was like, is this a dream? Am I gonna wake up? Like, is this fucking real? And I felt like that. I felt like that for a few days. I'm like, I felt like I was just gonna wake up in that bed and think, fuck, I still have to go out there and do that. But so far, I haven't woken up, and it's been real.
Aljo, I thought showed you a lot of love in the immediate aftermath. What did you think of his words afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, there was. I mean, when you get hit like that, there's not really what there's nothing really else what else to say. I mean, you got to be. I thought he was very nice, very genuine, very humble. Like, hey, I got caught. It is what it is. I mean, you really can't act any other way than that. Then it was a legit. I fucking hit him with exactly what he knew I wanted to hit him with.
Hmm. I saw your video afterwards. The "You Are the Man" video was tremendous. That stuff is always great in the aftermath. But could you give us perhaps a taste? Like, what was the post-fight celebration like? Like, I have visions in my mind, but I'm wondering if you can share any of it with us.
I didn't get back to the hotel till 3:30 in the morning because I had to do interviews after. So I got to the hotel at 3:30 in the morning, and that was it pretty much. Um, just hung out with the team, and then smoked and watched. I actually watched just a bunch of videos on people saying that I was going to lose. I watched all the pros react to or pros guesses or what it's called, and just watched a bunch of those till like 7 in the morning. Fell asleep for like 30 minutes, got up, and then we flew home. So
Wow.
that night wasn't crazy. We had an official proper celebration that next weekend with Nelk Boy's Happy Dad out in Scottsdale. So we had a proper celebration then the next week.
I've talked to you about fighting before, and I've talked to you about boxing. And you've told me like you don't really watch boxing. You watch some fights
No.
here and there. So I was actually a little bit surprised that Gervonta Davis was one of the names that you mentioned. Why is this of great interest to you if you're not like a big boxing guy?
We're both undefeated boxers, Ariel. It just makes sense. That's what you do when you're both undefeated boxers. You go out there and you see who's the best. Before that fight, I was calling out Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. Before they fought, Gervonta beat Ryan, and it's just a fight that I'd like in the future. I'm not calling for it next. I'm not saying this needs to happen next. I need to go out there, knock out my next guy. He needs to go out there, continue to build himself, and then we can have a Connor Floyd situation. I'm not as big as Connor right now. He's not as big as Floyd. So I'm just, planting the seed, letting it grow. I would love that fight. T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, the Sugar Show versus Gervonta. I just think it could definitely happen. I'd love for that fight to happen someday.
I saw you were with Dana White recently. Did you express this to him? And if so, is he interested in it as well?
I didn't talk to him about that specifically. I have talked to, I talked to Hunter before about the fight, and he said, "Hey, listen, if it's a big enough fight, the UFC is going to want to do it because they want to make money. Connor versus Floyd was big enough that they did it. So he said if it's big enough fight, he did say, Gervonta's obviously not right now. He's not big enough. He's not a superstar. He's not at that level yet. But in a couple years, maybe he will be. I know I will be. And I know there's a lot of people hating on it, but I would challenge those guys that if it happens to not watch it. You guys have to sit there and watch fucking some boring. You have to watch a Chito replay of Chito versus Pedro. That's how you guys have to. You guys have to watch that while me and Gervonta fight.
Are you fighting in December?
We'll see. I mean, the sooner the better for me. I know there's nothing official right now. I did talk to Dana, and he said, that he said he's going to announce something massive in a few weeks. I didn't. I knew there was a couple. I know there's a couple options to what that might be, but he didn't really specifically tell me necessarily because they're still moving pieces. But he did say he's going to announce something massive in a few weeks.
If it was up to you, though, would you fight again in 2023?
If it was up to me, and I mean, I'm going to go get an MRI on the left side of my hand from bouncing it off Aljo's head 600 times. So that's a little sore. I do think it's just going to take a couple, just a little time just to heal. I still haven't grappled. So I'm going to try to grapple here soon and see how this feels. But yeah, if I'm healthy, ready to go, December would be I would love that. I would love to fight in December.
And whenever that time comes, whenever your next fight is it a done deal that Chito will be your opponent?
If I got the pick, if I was running the show, I would say yes, simply because Chito is the biggest fight next, not because he's beautiful performance over Pedro. That was not the case. The fight, if I fight Chito next, is because that's what I want, and that's the biggest fight. I'm in the fight business, and I want big fights.
And so when you say the biggest fight, is it like, is this a personal thing for you? Like you want to, right that wrong?
Not at all.
Okay.
I never lost sleep over this fight. I've actually been playing chess for a long time. I lost that fight on purpose just so that I could go out there and knock out Aljo and then have that be my biggest fight rematch.
Fair enough. Now there's all this jockeying, right, with the bantamweights, especially, Merab is speaking up, Aljo is speaking up. When you're seeing all of this, what is your reaction?
I knocked out Marab August 19th, the same night I knocked out Aljo. They're the same. They hold hands. They're the same person. I knocked them both out August 19th. So that, we'll see what happens. I've called out the Chito fight before the fight even happened, before me versus Aljo, before Pedro versus Chito. I said, hey, Chito goes out there and wins. I go out there and win. I'm fighting Chito for my first title defense. And that's what happened. That's what's going to happen next in my eyes. That's what I want. But, at the end of the day, I'll go out there and knock out whoever they put in front of me.
And by the way, UFC down with that idea as well? The Chito Sugar rematch? What do we got?
Look at my chickens.
Yo, what's happening? Do they have names, by the way?
No, I haven't named them yet. They're just fucking chickens.
Do you,
but yeah, I'm sure the UFC's down with that. I mean, like I said, they're in the fight business. Me versus Chito is the biggest fight in the bantamweight division to make. There's not even one that's really close. Me versus anyone's going to be a big fight because I'm a pretty big name, but me versus Chito is the biggest fight to make. Me versus Corey's out there. Me versus Merab. Merab is literally just so fucking boring. It's hard to make that business wise, but yeah, you can make that fight eventually. Me versus Umar's a fight that I would like if he could just even get to a fight and win a couple. That's an interesting fight just because of his last name. But yeah, there's a bunch of big fights out there for me.
What about this wild card? Sean O'Malley versus Vitor Belfort.
I don't like my odds in that one, but I'll give her hell. I'll swing.
What's up with this? He's mad at you? Is he sliding in your DMs?
Yeah, he seems a little upset, but hey, what can you do? You can't make everyone happy. People read headlines and they make opinions, and I don't want to fight him. So,
but is he really like coming at you?
I don't know. I just see he seemed like it a bit. I avoided it though. I dodged.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't want no problem.
I saw you talk about it a little bit. He just doesn't like the way you live your life, basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're both just Christians.
And so is this what you're referring?
If he comes at me, I might hit him with one of these fucking. Boom,
yeah, no, for sure.
Front kick.
For sure. You tweeted something about big news from the Sugar State Athletic Commission. Are you referring to this upcoming fight, whenever it may be, or is it something else?
No, yeah, that's I'm referring to what I think is going to happen. It's going to be massive news. I got massive news in both my pockets. I could release whenever. So,
oh shit.
But I like to time things promptly. But yeah, I mean, being a champ, lots of opportunities come up, lots of big things happen, and life's good.
News in both pockets? That means you've got like more than one piece of news.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have more than one piece of news. Nothing I can say right now.
Oh,
yeah, I know you wanted it.
I got all excited, Sean. I got all excited. You got me all fired up. That's what I live for.
I'm glad you remembered our interview this morning, though.
Can I tell you something about that? And I don't know if you.
Yeah.
So, I'm a very anxious person, Sean. I'm this is just my life, especially booking this show. You see, I reach out, and so I could tell you, like, I'm so crazy that I could. You name a fighter right now on the roster, I could tell you if they're an Android guy, if they're an iPhone guy, if they're because it's me. You live it, right? I reach out, I do all that. And so part of the thing is I'm always afraid that someone's going to forget or not show up or doing a live show. And so I remind, and you did ask me to remind you, but one of my big fears is like, you get to know people as they're coming up and they're eager to come on. But then over time, they become so famous that they're like, forget you. You know, we have our own platform, we have our own interviews, we're doing this, that. And then they become harder and harder to get on the show. They become less accessible. You have to go through like 4 different people just to get to them, all that stuff. And so I'm always fearful. I joke about this with Izzy as well. Some guys never change, some guys do change. I didn't think you were going to change, but like to me, I said this at the beginning of the show. Not only have you not changed, you respond within seconds. You're always available. You're accessible. You know, you have to work around the schedule and all that, but like you're not like, no, I'm too big. And then this morning, I get the text from you, and I'm a pessimist, 1,000%.
Uh-huh.
And I think, oh, here comes the cancellation, just because I always think when someone texts me on the day, and it's you reminding me about the interview. Not only have you not
Yeah.
changed, you're an even bigger mensch than you were before you became a champion. Shout out to you.
Yeah, I mean, Ariel, you have both of my cell phone numbers.
Is that
You have
big?
both my numbers. So, yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, only certain people have both the numbers. But yeah, it's nice, not having shitty managers that you have to go through, and they could fuck everything up and miscommunicate and misschedule stuff and misinterpret stuff. So yeah, it's nice not having to go through shitty managers, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I like going directly to the fighters. That's my that's the best way. But even the fighters, once they get
It is
big, they say
indeed.
like, "Hey, I'm too busy, or I can't come on," or
Who's too busy? Who's bigger than me right now? No one. Who?
no.
How could you not go on Ariel's show? They all need it. You're the biggest MMA outlet right now. You're the best at it. And so if there's anyone that doesn't come on here, they're fucking stupid.
I appreciate it. You also said right now. Can I just push back and say for the last 15 years, or is that too much? Is that being too cocky?
No, I think that's. I mean, you might be accurate there.
Okay.
You've been doing that longer than I've been watching fighting.
Fucking hell. That picture came out
Crazy.
after you won of you shaving your eyebrows. Is that a real thing for the
Oh shit.
$20? That came back. Well, I never asked you about that.
50.
50, sorry. What was the story
Yeah,
behind
don't
that? Can I
disrespect.
ask you?
Fucking Tim. Said, hey, I'll give you $50 to shave your eyebrows. I said, all right. I was actually playing Xbox Live with my buddies. I had my headset on, and I was like, "Fuck, boy, should I do it?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "I think I'm gonna do it." I was broke. I needed money. I needed some cheddar. I needed to pay some bills. I wanted to be able to get a fucking Chipotle burrito, and that's what I did. I paid my Wi-Fi bill and got a fucking Chipotle burrito. So, was it worth it? No, it wasn't. It was horrible. I still went to the gym. I remember going into the MMA lab, and Crouch was like, "What the fuck's wrong with your face?" And you couldn't tell. And I was like, "It's my eyebrows." He's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, it is." And yeah, I got some weird looks. It was yeah, it wasn't smart. I wouldn't do it again.
How long did it take for them to grow back?
Like a month and a half.
Damn.
There was some awkward weeks. I still went to jujitsu, still went to the gym, still I laughed at every time and it was horrible, but I still went and trained.
How old were you?
I was probably 20.
20. Would that
Yeah,
would that kid have believed that this whole story would turn out this
100%.
way? He did, even back then.
Oh yeah, it's so weird. I had such a delusional sense of success. I knew this was going to happen. I would tell people this. I'm going to be world champion. I'm going to be the biggest star in the UFC. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be famous. It's going to fucking happen. Like I was telling people that before I got in the UFC. Probably before I even turned pro, I was telling people that. I had 14 amateur fights, so I knew for a while. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna fuck it. This is all going to happen, and I don't know why I was so confident and so for sure that it was going to happen. But I would have sat there and told anyone dead in the eyes. Like the first time I met Tim when he picked me up at the airport when I flew from Montana, I told him like, dude, we're going all the way to the top. We're gonna be the biggest, the best in the world. And he was like, shut the fuck up. I mean, he didn't see it. He didn't really know me at the time, but I was 19 years old, telling Tim this before I was even pro.
Do you remember when you first started to believe this? How old you were?
Um, Probably 18, probably, yeah, probably about 18. Cause when I started kickboxing when I was 16, I thought jujitsu and wrestling was the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, why would you do that? That's fucking dumb. And then once I turned 18, I had an MMA fight and I was like, oh shit, that was fun. Like the small gloves, like it's just different. It felt different. And then I started kind of watching the UFC once I started fighting a little bit more. And I was like, oh shit, I could be on TV and fight in front of, like, I was going to people's houses to watch fights. I was like, what the fuck? People could go to houses to watch me fight someday. So I'd say about 18 years old is when I started really believing like, oh, that could be me.
Incredible. Did you get a new tattoo to commemorate the win?
Yeah, I had to get a little champ 2023 tat, you know, for memories in case I ever forget.
Right. Not on the face though, right? There's no belt on the face.
No, there's not a belt on my face. It's just a little crown.
That's sick. Where is it? The one top right over there?
I forget. Is it? No, I think it's on this side. You see it?
Oh, I see. Oh, look at that. That's new.
Ah, yeah,
That's new?
yeah, yeah. I got
Fresh.
a couple. I didn't get it before the fight. I should have, but
That would be sick if you got it before the fight. That would be, I mean, that would be real ballsy move on your part.
that would have been a little.
Oh no. Did we lose him out on the farm? I was just about to wrap it up. This always seems to happen. I'm always about to wrap it up and then we lose someone. Could we call him right back just to wrap it up?
Yeah, we're trying that.
All right. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.